The following live broadcast is rated PG. Parental guidance is suggested. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow Ear Shoulder Voice on YouTube and Facebook, or visit our website at www.earshouldervoice.com.
We've got to work together.
Hello. So what do you got planned this coming up weekend? A lot of people in the Midwest and the East Coast know that coming up right now is Sweetest Day. It's kind of a Hallmark holiday, but something that some people take seriously. You pretty much get together. It's kind of like Valentine's Day Part 2. You know, not as good as the original, but still you're going to feel stupid if you miss it by certain people in your life. But maybe you don't have somebody in your life that you're actually going to miss it for. Maybe you're like one of the millions of people out there. Maybe you're somebody like myself that really doesn't have anybody. But how long has this been going on? Some people have been alone and been single for years, decades even, and they feel there's nothing they're ever going to find and nobody's ever going to be there for them, and they're just destined to be alone. There are people out there that take that as a good thing. They're like, I'm a better person, I'm happier when I'm alone. But most of these people inside, they're not happier. They're not even a little bit happier. They're sad, and they're lonely, and they want to know, what can they do to change things? But is it worth the pain? Relationships have often been fraught with them with nothing but pain, hurt. People have cheated on each other. They have done so much damage to them, they can't trust anybody. And that's why they always tend to feel that they are forever single. Hi, I'm Keith Litfin, and welcome to Ear Shoulder Voice. Today's topic is forever single. It's about what I just mentioned. It's about always feeling that you're never going to find that right person. You build this wall, and eventually you break down that wall for somebody because you feel they're definitely going to be the one. And alas, all they end up doing is making you build an even bigger, stronger wall to the point you're stuck inside and never want to leave. But sometimes there's hope. There's light at the end of that tunnel. And we're going to talk to people who have found that light, some who haven't yet found that light, and people who just generally know what it feels like to be alone. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow to Ear Shoulder Voice on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all that good stuff. We're on there. We're on Periscope too. And you can follow all our live broadcasts. You can live chat during the show. You can engage us. We will answer you right on the panel. Also, you can visit our website, earshouldervoice.com. When you do that, you can see our live schedule. You can ask to join and be a part of any show. You can also select to be a volunteer, which we are always looking for. That would include being a main panelist on our show and somebody who genuinely likes helping other people. So we hope you enjoy the show today, and we'll get right to it. All right, we're going to bring in our first panelist right now for you. Of course, it's the wonderful, always miss when she's not here. We love when she is. Great to have you back. Linny, how you doing?
Hi, guys. Welcome
Hi,
to
Linny.
Hi. How are you, Keith?
I'm great. Linny, you're one of those few people that when it comes to being single and when it comes to being with somebody, you really don't give a shit. You're happy either way. So tell me, how did you get like that? That's a unique way of looking at this.
Well, first of all, this topic, forever single, is I should actually star in your next one that's called Never Single, because I'm always either in a relationship or have been married. It's like just kind of continuous. So tonight will be really interesting for me to listen to everyone else that is always single, because maybe I did something wrong. Maybe there's something wrong with me that I always need to have a partner. You know, so it's kind of, I'm going to be curious to hear from some of our guests that are always single.
Well, that feeling of just feeling there's nobody out there and you're never going to find somebody is actually the exact same feeling flipped that you have, which is the fear of isolation, being alone, that you might not even realize you have, but that's the reason why you're always with somebody. We'll delve deeper to that in a minute. All right, we're going to bring in our next panelist. Please welcome in Paige. Paige, how you doing?
Hi, Paige.
Oh, Paige, we lost your audio.
Sorry
There
about
you
that.
go.
Hi.
How you doing, Paige?
Good,
You
how
said
are
you might
you?
mute yourself. We didn't mean
Yeah.
like for the show.
Maybe I did.
Okay. Well, you got to inform us of that prehand. So, Paige, you expressed interest, of course, in being here for this show, which we
Yeah.
really appreciate. How can you relate to the subject?
I spent 5 years in a relationship and just kind of realized that being single was better for me and, developed a better relationship with me. So I just don't want to date anybody ever. And I've tried and I just don't want to.
Oh,
Different
that can be.
perspective.
It's really, like I said, it's night and day. A lot of times we're going through the same situations as Lenny, myself, and you, and we have different feelings about it, but it leads to the same kind of outcome. It leads to a planned destination of what we're going to have. Whether it is we're always going to be with somebody, we're never going to be with somebody and want to, or we just never want to. But there's always something behind us that has built that up, and we're going to see if we can discover that. Coming up next, we got also another panelist. Paige, this was your first time on the show, and we're glad to have you here. And so is our next panelist. Welcome, Mary. Mary, how you doing?
Hi, I'm excited to be here.
You should be excited. We're excited to have you, actually. We're very excited to have you.
I've been watching your show. I think you do such a great job. And
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm anxious to just hang out and hear what we're going to hear about tonight.
Oh, it's also not just what we're going to hear, it's what you're going to say because,
Yeah, that'll
we
be
know
interesting too.
One of the things I started with when I said some people, it could be months, it could be years, it could even be decades. I think you fall in one of the longer categories on that, don't you, Mary?
I did, and I'm not even embarrassed to admit it. I was single for 16 years. I got married young, I got divorced young, and I was sure that I would get married immediately and have a family and have a traditional family and marriage, and it just didn't happen. And people, one is on your screen right now with blonde hair, said it was because I was too picky. There was a million reasons why I couldn't find the right one. But the funny thing is, after 16 years of being single, and I finally switched to what I called dating the world, which maybe is what Paige is doing. Believe it or not, I met somebody and I knew immediately it was the right one. And we got married 5 months later. And now it's been 7 years.
7 years after
7
that
years.
long, though, after that long apart.
But you know what they
absolutely
say, the 7-year itch.
And we're not even having any kind of
Are
an
you-
itch,
are
not
you-
even a
Well, now that
scratch.
Lenny mentioned it, you might.
No,
Now that Lenny
I've already
mentioned it.
I've already been thinking about it. My last marriage was just shy of 7, and I don't feel any of that. But that's because he gets me. So as the conversation goes on, I think we should talk about what is the right fit, because I agree with Paige. I was there. Most dating relationships where someone's trying to be controlling, or you have different interests, or they're just boring. It got to the point where I was like, oh, done. I would rather just have dinner with strangers at a restaurant than be on a bad date.
Right.
Yeah.
We got Bill here, and Bill's
This
been
is
engaged
great.
14 times and never married, and he's always happy.
God,
I don't
wanna
think
hear
you
from
being
Bill.
I don't think Bill being happy is the problem. I think it's the people he's with who are not happy that's the issue right now. Because if you got engaged 14 times, Bill, was it you that broke it off, or did they? And I'm just curious if you know of a common denominator in that. So please fill us in. And Allie is also here. Allie is right behind you. That's right. She's been single for 15 years, and it can be a very long time for some people. Some people say they like it and they're happy with it, and being single is how they want to be. But the truth is, for a lot of people, they're used to it.
But
It's
you
a
know what?
comfort zone.
So getting back to Mary, what would you tell Allie for 15 years? If Allie even wants a relationship, what would you say to her right now, knowing that you found somebody, just keep plugging along, or would you?
I have both sides of the story. So one is I try to tell people, be careful what you wish for, because it hasn't been easy. I mean, you know my whole story. We got married in 5 months. His family wasn't exactly thrilled with that. So I faced a lot of challenges. He had adult children that didn't welcome me. He had a mom that didn't welcome me. Basically, his aunts and uncles were great. His cousins were great. His friends were great. But the immediate family was very suspicious. And so there was a lot of challenges. And the other thing is we have slightly different values and we have very different lifestyles. He's a boater. He lives on the lake. I have a horse. I like being in the country. So we had to have a lot of give and take. But the key parts are there. He's a great person. He makes me laugh every day. He has the most generous, giving heart. But I had to do my own soul searching to figure out what was important to me. and what my give and takes were going to be in who I dated. In fact, toward the end, when I sort of knew maybe I was going to date again, I'd say, I wonder what my concession's going to be off the Prince Charming list. Like, is he going to be bald? Is he going to smoke? Is he going to, like all these things I said no to. I didn't say no to bald, by the way, but.
Yeah, Bill says.
But I just said, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? And my big joke when I met him is I said he's a farmer from Chesterfield, because that's just what I thought. He was just so different than anything I knew. And he's a business owner. He's a great guy. He's very active. And
that's awesome.
So it turned out to be good. And I don't want to ramble too much, but the whole point is careful what you wish for, because it's still a challenge.
Be careful, because sometimes a lot of people want something, and once they have it, they don't want it.
Yeah,
That's
you sit
exactly
home.
The way it is. You
sit home dreaming about the fairy tale relationship, not a real relationship.
Bill here is cracking me up. I mean, he says it was him,
I know.
but it was, which is good. But it was the '80s, and it was a different time. It was, and fair enough. During the '80s, there was a lot of this "I don't need anybody" type thing going on.
So I'm curious, Bill.
And it was the '90s.
Okay, so
and
it was both decades.
the last one this year.
So
I want to know.
14 times in
that's what I want to know. How long did you know them before the engagement too? Like, was this 2 years of dating 14 times, or 14 days of dating 14 times?
All right. Well, Bill gets ready to answer that. We've got two guests joining us. They were on last Wednesday show, and they were absolutely incredible. I want to welcome them back. Please welcome Brando. Brando, how you doing?
Hi, Brando.
Oh, you're muted too.
Yes, it's not just me.
Hi guys, how are you guys doing?
We're doing good, Brandon. Brando, we'll call you. So, Brando, what about you? I don't know. Are you single right now?
Currently am. I have been talking to someone for a little bit, but at the moment I'm single. Sorry, that's like contradiction. I am single, but like I've been like.
Well, no, talking to somebody single, like, I get that.
Yeah, but I have been in like long spurts of like where I've been single for a while. So.
Did you like being single? Like, why? I mean, do you like being in a relationship more than being single, or single more than being in a relationship?
It's kind of hard to like say. Like, I enjoy being in a relationship, but like at the times when I am single, like it gives me time to like heal and like figure out a lot of my own problems, and it gives me time to just figure myself out and like hold.
One more question. Or if while you are in a relationship, do you want to be single?
I haven't had any of that yet. So no.
I think that's actually really common for people, is once they're in the relationship, they like it at first because they're no longer single, and slowly they start to say, I really miss being single.
Because it's not the fairy tale. That's why.
It's not the fairy tale. Like you were saying, careful what you wish for on that. I was going to get to this actually, Brian. Brian, this is a great point. Social media, texting, messaging has changed communication in life today, and it's changed the way people converse with each other. And I'm going to be flat out honest with this, Brian. I think you're right, and I think that's actually one of the issues I have with even being in the scene anymore. I grew up on the thing: if you met me, you liked me. If you met me, you loved me. I'm awesome. I'm an awesome person. If you meet me in person, you want to be around me. And that has been pretty much my whole life. And now you can literally take anybody's personality, career, what they've built, what they've lost, emotion, soul, feeling, and you can take one finger and swipe them away from existence in your life. And I think that is a huge issue. Paige, you seem to really agree with that. What do you got to say on it?
I mean, honestly, the part about not dating that is so appealing to me is the not dating part, because I don't like it. I don't like the superficial conversations that you have with people in order to start something. It does not compute with me. That is not how I exist. That's not how I work. I don't want to talk about the weather and like your dog's name as a first conversation. And Keith, I think you know that like I just don't do that kind of conversation at first. Well, yeah, I'm immediately like, let's go in.
Well, I think that's where I'm coming from too, partly with the being myself thing. When you meet me, because you will meet me, when you met me at 16, anybody that does know me from that age will know that when I was 26 and, when I became older, every time, I'm the same person. You met me, that's who I was. Yeah, I added responsibilities, but you knew exactly who I was and who I was going to be. And I think you lose that at this point. And now you've got to be someone else. So the dating ritual, per se, in general, I think is ridiculous. Because what you're doing the opposite thing. You're going into a fantasy you want, and a fantasy you want to give, more than the reality of what it'll be. All right, we're going to bring in our final guest right now. Please welcome back Taya. Taya, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? Can you see me?
We can see you. We can see the
your
wine even
wine
better.
Yeah.
We
Hold on,
like
let me
that.
put mine front and center.
Back and better than ever.
So
Diet
Taya,
Coke.
I'm sorry.
so Taya, what do you have on this being single? Are you single right now?
I'm single all the time.
Okay, so you are polar opposite of Lenny. Now, are you single by choice?
Yeah, I would say so.
Well,
I-
what can you tell me about that? Why do you think that is a choice?
Cause everything is very superficial right now. Like it's so. I'm not gonna pretend that I feel some type of way that I don't. I'm also not gonna pretend that I am somebody that I'm not. I heard someone earlier say that small talk is not your thing. I don't care how the weather is. We're here. We are here. As soon as I say that all the time. I don't want to pretend to talk to you because I don't actually care.
That's you know what, that's actually a good point. You don't, and you know what, when you've done it so much and you've dealt with dating people so much or trying to even just talking to them outside, how the initial conversation starts, you've answered the same questions hundreds and hundreds of times.
Right.
You're tired of it, and you know the outcome is likely to be the same damn thing. They're going to walk the other direction. You're never going to see them again. Why waste your time on it? Paige is really into this. So Mary,
I got a quick question. Do
Go
you
ahead.
mind?
Yeah, that's why I called you.
What about trust? So, with all the social media that's out there and all the dating apps and the sex hookups, one of my big problems was trusting somebody toward the end of my dating because I was like, I tried out with 5 other people. And I'll admit it, I didn't want to get hurt. I didn't want to look foolish.
Well,
That's it.
that's
it.
big. That's
Yep.
the trust and the hurt is a really big one on there, and usually that delves into something of being hurt at some time before that. So, is there any particular situation you think that applies to you, Mary?
Well, not anymore now that I'm married. I
Well,
mean,
we're talking prior to that,
Yeah.
obviously.
During
Prior-
that 16 years.
yeah, for sure. Because I dated a lot of guys that would be considered players. A lot of the hitters around town and that. But at the beginning of my 16 years of single was in the 90s. I'm 57. And
What?
so the only
No, you're
Hold on. No, I gotta
Uh-uh,
check
no.
this now.
yeah, 57.
No fucking way.
No.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
God bless both.
Damn,
men.
you look good. You look better than Lenny. Fuck.
Oh, don't tell her that. She'll be
Just
coming
did.
after me. She'll be coming after me.
You'll be
but
going after him.
But seriously, like back in my day, there were only so many bars that were good bars, and that's where you're going to meet people. And if they were up to no good, you'd know about it. But now, with all now there's a million bar choices and a million different social apps to be hooking up, and I don't know what you'd know or wouldn't know. I mean, now I'm married to somebody that has a 35-year-old and a 34-year-old son that are both single. And, I stay this far out of their business, but I watch all the circles that go on out there. And I'm thinking, I thought it was bad when I was out there.
But do you ever think that maybe the problem, you brought up trust and stuff, but do you ever think the problem is sometimes you are attracted to those kind of people?
Oh, for sure. Have you guys ever heard the term broken picker? I always hated that term because it sounded like pecker.
I never hated that term because I've never heard it.
Oh my God. I was told by somebody, you know what's wrong with you? You have a broken picker. And I was like, what? But it's true. I picked every worst person there was out there every time. And I would always, this is the other thing women do. We always see the best in them. The stronger you are as a woman, the better you are at seeing the best in somebody. And they're not. You're turning them into this Prince Charming that you want them to be. But guess what? They're not.
Okay.
Lynn is very good at this
Lenny,
as
yeah.
well.
Go ahead.
So, Mary, at one point, when I was briefly single, told me I was picking all the wrong ones because I kept saying, "Oh my God, I'd be in a relationship, and then it would take me 3 years until I saw that they were an alcoholic or that they were this or they were that." And you know what she told me I had to do? So this is for all the women out there.
This is a good one.
I'm dying to
that
know.
I had to date
She was horrible at it.
3 men at the same time. Not
So you don't get
sexy them.
attached. So she wouldn't get attached to anyone.
But what if you
Okay.
get attached to more than one?
That
That's
would
okay.
suck. But what it did,
Maybe they're open.
okay,
Yeah.
I thought she was
Then you're in a
full of shit.
throuple. The new
Could be a
word,
good night.
throuple.
Could be a good night.
No, I thought she was full of shit with this Because how do you do that, first of all, unless you get online and have to do that? So I did that, and that was like dress
Well,
shopping
time
and an
out.
interview.
Here's what you didn't get, because she would immediately latch on and they were the one, and she'd have these deep conversations and she would be in love in a
Yeah.
week. Well, if you're dating 3, you don't get to be that attached that quickly because you know you're dating. Then you pace
You
it
see the
and then
flaws
you can
early.
see, then you can
the
see their flaws
early.
from further away.
I will say
I'm going to
that
disagree
was-
with that sometimes, because I think there are some people out there, and I'm actually putting myself out there as this person, that you attach yourself to genuine people, period. So if you happen to get a couple genuine people, you're going to feel that way no matter how hard you try not to. I'm going to bring up here Bill, who responded.
Bill already.
I know, Bill is great. Bill is great. He'd go out with the girls. She would need a place to live. I'd let her move in. Wow. And then that question would come up. When we're getting married, you never told her you were in love with them. And when you just throw her a ring, slow them down for a while, never lied to anyone, led them on, and like the company with marriage just isn't for me, I guess. Now, I guess is putting it mildly, because of course it's not fucking for you at that point if you're saying that. All right. You literally are saying that you lead them on all the way up to that point and then say bye-bye. And that is a little, so you are kind of leading them on. But sometimes I believe, Bill, that you use some of this probably as more of a defense type mechanism for it. Because I think when you finally throw them the ring, you're thinking there is a possibility out there. I don't believe it's just throwing them a ring to slow them down. Like
You
you
don't just
said,
throw jewelry at people?
well, he does, but not rings. Well, not those kind of rings, at least.
Well, and I think you guys need to slow down at the after the second sentence before the third. She'd need a place to live. I'd let her move in. So first of all, what kind of person is it? Doesn't sound like she's standing on her own 2 legs on her own first. And number 2, at what point were you letting her move in? That sounds maybe a little too quick. Maybe you didn't get to know him well enough and they didn't get to know you. We should date. No one dates anymore. We all sleep with each other within a couple weeks, and
we do.
But dating
too
is
much too
pointless
soon.
now.
I don't do that
Dating
either.
is pointless now. How do you feel? I'll tell you, you're single by
Taya's
choice
like,
as well.
yeah.
I feel like dating's pointless, though. How do you feel about that?
Mhm.
You muted yourself again.
And now you're in
Sorry.
slow-mo.
There you are.
Oh,
You're
and it was
muted.
something good too.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
I
actually where
don't
that
think
sound's
dating-
coming from. We can't figure it out.
I'm sorry.
Sounds like somebody chewing or eating over there. It's fine. We're good with it. We were trying to figure it out. We thought it was Mary typing. It wasn't.
Maybe it's the cat.
Yeah, it could be.
No, she's minding his business. Meredith is right over there, but I do hear it. I was wondering if it was coming from. It's
Yeah,
gone.
it is. It's
It's
okay.
not me.
It's periodic. No, it is. When I mute her, it's gone. Anyway, so we're just asking what dating is pretty much an outdated thing. How do you feel about that?
No, I don't. I don't think dating's pointless. I think that it is a good thing, and I think that you should do it. But I don't think it should be taken as seriously. I think that a lot of people are like dating for marriage and putting a lot of pressure on something that is.
You are not kidding, Allie. You are not kidding. Dating
No,
is stupid,
okay.
but you can get a free meal. Hello,
But I
JK.
don't care
That's
that
what my mom
everybody
tells
just-
me now. To try to
Allie,
convince me
go
to
see
date
Bill.
someone.
Go see Bill,
Oh, God.
Allie. You can get a free place to live.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. I was just gonna say that.
So Allie also said she was married from 19 years old to 40 years old. My whole growing up life, you had no idea how to date at 40. That is so true for a lot of people. Lenny, you're in the same boat.
No, well, I'm not because I.
Well, you were like, preach, girl. So
No, I was just reading that, going, that is so true because dating when you're older is so different than dating when you're younger. I mean, it's completely different.
You know,
Most
kind
people-
of, and kind of not. What do you mean by different?
Okay, so most people in your age range are either divorced and have a bunch of baggage, and they're divorced for a reason. So, do you really want that person? Never been married. Really, do you want that person? That means that no one wanted that person before that point. Or you can't find them unless you go online because they're not out there. Where you're frequently.
But that's the choices or the availability. What about the actual date itself?
But what I'm saying is when you're younger, you're out doing stuff that you enjoy, and so are those other people in the same atmosphere. So you find those single people easier. Most people that get divorced either stay home or they're not out and about as much as they were when they were young. Everybody's
But that's where the
single when they're
nonsense
young.
comes in. That's exactly where the nonsense comes in. Is because you're talking to people who like are younger. They are out of control. They are out of control. They are.
But they're single, is what I'm saying. That most
Oh.
people, when they're young, are single. So you've got this smorgasbord of people to choose from. When you're older, they're either married or have a family or have kids, or if they're divorced, you know, they don't want to go do stuff or whatever. It may be because their time, their availability is slim comparatively to when you're younger. So there's
Oh,
just
you just made me think of a whole new thing. So everybody that's out there watching us, type in on this one. What about the desperation factor? Because you have people on here. This group is very confident. We're all super social. It's how we met each other. But what about the person that didn't date for 20 or 30 years that is tiptoeing out there, and then they do finally meet somebody that is just, you know, has his hair shoe polished in, but they're going to try to make it work because they're so desperate to find a date, because it is slim pickings and it is tough to find choices in that older age range. That's a tough one, I think. I think a lot of people try to make it work when they shouldn't.
Right, I believe that's true. We lost Taya from it. I think she's trying to fix whatever that issue is going on with her. I wanted to bring up, Brian said something. This is kind of what I was talking about with the swipe with one finger. I think many create a person from their Facebook of what they read or hear instead of actually getting to know each other on your own. That's where I think we've lost a lot, especially when it comes to social media. Like I had said before, you see somebody and you try to, that's the same with dating scene. You try to be what you think they want. People always forget that they got with you because of who you were, and then you try to be what they want. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a
Paige.
huge reason why I'm staying single, is because I realized, so I was in a 5-year relationship from when I was 7 and I was just about 22. And to kind of backtrack a little bit, like I would argue it's just as hard being this age and dating for that long and then not, but you know, I did not just as hard, different hard, but similar level. And you know, I just, you know what I mean? I forgot what I was talking about.
No, but no, I actually,
I forgot what I was
you're
talking
okay.
about.
Passion can do that to you.
Oh,
Completely.
I remember.
All right, we're back.
And I decided that I was going to stay single because there were 2 people that I had met afterwards that we just connected and we were really good friends and everything. And then I started morphing into this person that I thought they wanted me to be. And I just realized like, no, not going to happen. Because I have always been so unapologetically me. It's always been a huge facet of who I am and why people either did or didn't like me, which never really mattered. That when I started becoming that kind of girl, I was like, oh no, nope, absolutely not going to happen. So that's been a learning curve.
Right.
I'm proud of you.
Well, you have to, and that's what a lot of people do is they adopt their new selves because of who they want to be. Or and not even who they want to be, who they think the other person wants them to be. Now, the other person often in turn sees change. Sees this person is no longer the person they like to begin with. And this is where distancing starts to happen early in a lot of relationships. And it's all because of trying to please the other person. You're just not listening to please them the right way. You're not understanding why they were there to begin with.
And it always comes off as so obsessive. Do you know what I mean? And manipulative in a way.
And why would you want to do that? I have a really good friend. I asked her to tune in tonight for this, and she's 50, and you know, she tries to go on a lot of dates because she'd really like to have a companion, and she gets so worried on the dates. And I'm like, don't get worried. Be yourself, because you want someone that likes you for you, and ask them the kind of questions that you really want to find out who they are. You know, get to the truth.
Bill, good thing you brought up there. By the way, I think it's going to work out with you and Allie. We just got to talk a little bit more here.
She might want a place to live.
She's just get that jersey number 15. He needs number 15 out there. You never should try to change anybody. They shouldn't change you. The thing I have with what you said there, Bill, is I don't think that it's always people are trying to change somebody. I think it's people think they want them to be changed. I think instead, like, theoretically, if it was me and Paige, because we're on the same thing, and we started dating, I would think, well, Paige wants this kind of person. I've already talked to Paige, so I better do it. And Paige is going, wait, you're not doing the things I liked about you anymore. So wait, you're changing on me. What's going on? And sometimes it is they want to change you. And now, if you ever get in a relationship and you want to change somebody, if you didn't like who they were to begin with, why the fuck do you want to change them?
And that
Like,
goes
you're
back to the
creating an
desperation
artificial.
point.
Yeah, you're creating an artificial person.
Here's the thing:
Yeah.
is you didn't know who they were at the beginning. I mean, that's what I came across so many times, is that they would try to be this person that they wanted to be, but they truly weren't. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're invested in this for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and then you're finding out that they're not happy, but they were trying to be someone that they weren't, or they were hiding the person that they were with alcohol or whatever else.
Well, alcohol's terrible for that, because alcohol will always hide who you are. Allie says she's way too old to change for anybody, and I would say that is true at any age.
Yeah, I think so too.
You should never change for anybody, with the exception of yourself.
It won't work. It won't work if you
But
try to
you
change to be somebody someone else wants. And it's
Now-
not
not
you.
necessarily to change to be somebody, but change in order to develop conversations in the way that you're having them, develop your discourse style. That is
Habits
wonderful
are fine.
change.
Yeah,
Or
habit type
It's not
deals.
who you are
and-
fundamentally.
Right, but you shouldn't. Yeah, who you are inside. You shouldn't stop liking certain things, liking other things, doing stuff like that. Yeah, you're right. What were you gonna say, Mary?
I was going to say sometimes it happens by accident. Like, let's say they play for a softball team, and all of a sudden you jump in and you love it for the moment, you know, and the next thing you know, you're on the softball team and you're friends with them, or the bowling league, or whatever it is. And I think sometimes you can accidentally, I wouldn't call it changing though,
That's
but
not
sort
changing,
of
that's
slide into
discovering.
that lifestyle.
That's
Yeah.
discovering. That's a good
That's
Right.
discovering
But-
something else. It's not a change.
Are you really liking it because of the pheromones? Or
Sometimes.
are you really liking it because you like it? And I
You
sort of
just
see what
like
Paige
it
is saying.
because of the sex.
That's a problem today.
That's
in
the
sex.
pheromones. That's the pheromones.
Sex is a big thing, because sex is pretty much the prelude to dating now, like more than it ever was. I think nowadays, especially not with you, Paige, and probably not a few people on this panel. That's
No,
hence
it's-
why
it's
we're on the panel.
She's like, what are we talking about?
Like,
sex?
ooh.
Before we get into that, and it's going to be partly
Terrifying.
connected. Dating has changed people's perspectives because they're now connected through someone mutual with social media, which is a huge thing. Where before everyone had a more silent life and it wasn't shared. Technology has changed a lot of it with the click of a button or mouse. Brian, you
agree
definitely
with
nailed that one, because they used to be you would eventually meet somebody's friends. You would talk to their friends. They might say something about you didn't want, but you'd probably be together. You'd laugh, and you'd eventually develop a new circle based on the person you're dating. And now you're finding people to date in a circle that you're already connected to, who's going to tell you every fucking thing about this person you never wanted to know, and sometimes make shit up just because they're bitter. You know, there's a lot of things that can happen there because you're no longer discovering someone's private life. You're just joining in on their existing life for no reason. You don't really understand it, and people try to get in on that. Another thing, Brian said he's not bashing on social media, and I don't think you are. I am, because I think social media has destroyed a lot of things when it comes to that. But you're right, it's a double-edged sword. Doing positive, inspirational things always helps. And sometimes that's what you got to do. And that's, like I said, that's not change, that's discovery. When you find new things, new ways of doing things. Welcome back, Taya.
Hello.
Glad to have you back. We know you were dealing with a few issues. We think you've corrected them, which is good. And welcome back, Brando.
Hello.
You changed the hair.
I did.
That's why you took the break, was for the hair?
Yeah, it was the hair.
Wow.
Glad to have both of you back.
I
We were
can't
just
get
talking.
mine up there. That's
Can
kind
you
of
guys
impressive.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
One more glass of wine. I'm going to try it.
See, now Taya's got the right idea. If you're going to start dating, show him the pussy first.
Period. I don't know about that one.
Well, you did. But no, we were just talking about how, I don't know if you guys were listening when you were trying to fix the problem. We were talking about how social media and Facebook and already, she's gone again, and already being in somebody's circle, it has made it harder when you're dating now too, because when you meet somebody new, they have all these friends in common, etc. And there's no more getting to know your private life through you. They get to know your private life through your friends.
So I have a question
Yeah,
for
Lenny.
everybody. Has everyone done online dating at some point in time?
I've never met anyone from it.
I don't
Okay,
think
but
so.
you've tried it. But
I
you've
did
tried
probably,
online
we're talking like
dating?
20 years ago.
Okay.
maybe if that. But a long
So-
time before it was like apps and stuff.
Right. So
I will
now,
wholeheartedly admit to going on Tinder for the ego boost. I'm like, I'm gonna find a boyfriend, and then 5 minutes later, yeah, I don't want one. Why did I do this?
I almost feel sad. I mean, I know COVID's kind of putting everybody online, but the thing is when you're doing it online, you're trying to just meet people. But the reality is, like, if I go out and I all of a sudden just find myself attracted to someone, like Mary said, pheromones, whatever it may be, there's a big difference in that, and that interaction, talking to that person one-on-one, you then want to do more with that. When
Right.
you're online and you're just reading somebody's what they want to say and putting out their, I can't tell you I can tell you 4 different times online on one of those sites, meeting people, they were married saying they were single.
I mean, I've been on those sites a lot of times, and I mean, I have updated my headlines so much now it just says everything forward is true, plain fucking facts. This is
You're
not a
right.
lie. This is, and it still doesn't matter. All right, we're gonna take a small breather here because we got somebody else that's gonna come on in a moment. Kenneth, how's it going? Oh, Kenneth, we lost you. We don't hear you.
Oh, no, I'm
There
here.
you are.
I had
All
it
right.
muted just in case I did some stuff that I shouldn't have done. I don't know.
Well, we're glad to have you here, Kenneth. You were here a couple weeks ago. You performed a song that was absolutely phenomenal and fit with it and everything. And you're
Thank
back
you.
to do another one for us. We're so happy to see you right now. So, Kenneth, have you been listening to the show? I'm sure you have.
I have been for a little bit, yes.
Yes. So, what is the inspiration to the song? First, what song are you going to be performing for us?
So this song is actually, as a solo artist, the first song I've ever done. It's called End Like Before. I was in some dark places when I wrote this song. I wrote it like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning one night, like just broken-hearted, like out of my mind. Drank like a case of beer, a bunch of whiskey, and smoked some dope. And I ended up coming up with this song, and it tells a story, and a lot of people could relate to it for sure.
That is the secret recipe for a lot of hit songs, especially in the 80s and 90s.
I'm gonna have a shot of Red Stag too, just to
You
show
go
you,
ahead and do
Keith.
that.
I love you, man.
Well, cheers to you, Kenneth.
Oh, hoy hoy. Oh, yeah, nice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the musical talents of Kenneth James.
I walk alone. There's no one by my side. Can't tell if this is heaven or hell. I can't get you off my mind. Don't know what I was thinking. I know everything will be fine. I know one day you'll come back to me in these dreams of mine. To know what I feel, I can't take this anymore. I know that I'm real, and this won't end like before. When I wake wasting my time. I pulled myself together, strapped some shoes on my feet, grabbed my keys and I'm out the door, and there you were staring at me. Don't know what I feel, I can't take this anymore. I know that I'm real, and this won't end like before. This won't end like before, end like before. I don't know everything that just happened, but it happened, so that's all I got. I can't hear you again for some reason. Am I muted? Oh, hey. Hi. I hear you.
Oh, there we go. Nice job, Kenneth.
Ahoy, hoy.
Yeah, some people did
Good job,
get muted.
Thank you very much.
Mary, you're still muted as well.
You know, I forgot the words before I even sang that song, man. It was really scary.
I imagine it can be. You still pulled it off, though. They seem to enjoy it on there, too.
Yeah, I'd rather play the guitar or just drum or something, man.
And so
okay,
now
it sounded
we
great.
need to know though, are you single or are you with somebody now?
No, I'm with somebody right now. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that song had to come from what you sound sad about that.
Yeah, that song is definitely tough. That's about my life. Almost got married once, and that whole entire song is about after we split. I moved away, went to like West Virginia, and I came back home, and I was just miserable as all holy like flip. I don't want to swear. I don't know, but yeah. So I got really messed up one night, and I just started playing, some guitar, and I started singing words, and I'm like, oh my God. This is my life that just happened, and there it is.
So I take it at the time when you wrote that song, were you single?
Yes, yeah, very.
So obviously there had to be something to do with that. How were you feeling at that time? How were you dealing with being single? Was it through music? Was that your secret weapon?
Definitely, it was definitely my secret weapon. But I'm going to be honest, man. I was drinking a lot, smoking a lot. I mean, I still do, obviously, but not like.
You can't be a rock star if you ain't drinking and smoking a lot. I'm just saying. That's part of the deal.
Yeah, but it was a little rougher then, and it's definitely a lot tamer now. Even though it might not seem, I don't know what you guys see, but
now, have you been,
yeah.
When you were single, was it for like long periods of time or anything? Was there a great period where you just felt you were never going to find somebody?
Yeah, for like literally the last 8 years.
Oh, so yeah, you definitely had. Now, do you think that ultimately helped you though?
I mean, I hope so, kind of, just to like get me ready for everything else. But life, you don't know what you're gonna get. It's just like a snap of a finger and stuff changes, and you just gotta adjust and adapt.
Well, it looks like you're adapting very well. Your life is definitely getting out there. Your songs are amazing. I don't know if you've already found out. You can find Kenneth James. They really are. You can find the non-acoustic, the full version of the songs as well on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. Just look up Kenneth James. He's out there. You are amazing. Some of your songs, they hit so close to home. They're so awesome. Wayne also likes it. Everybody's been complimenting on here.
I appreciate that.
So you did absolutely fantastic. We love. Is there anything you want to say before we say goodbye to you, Kenneth?
Yeah, I love you, man. I love you a lot, Keith. Yes, me, your shoulder voice, like, you're my man. You let me sing Sponge and scream at people. It's great.
Well, you can scream at us, too.
It's just not the time and place for it, man.
Truth. Well, it's been great.
I love you, and I love all of you guys, too, in this little block that I see of people, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it can be smaller on there sometimes for other people, but everybody else is seeing you. All right, thank you again for being here, Kenneth. You have yourself a great day.
Ahoy, hoy.
Bye,
Thank
Kenneth.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great song. That was
good.
nice. That was nice.
It's very
Good
nice.
song. And you know, that song, every time he does a song, I feel like he wrote it for the show, but he's written them a long time before, which I absolutely love.
He was trying to go all deep, telling you that he had to clean up his act a little bit to get the good person.
He did. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
That what you got out of it, Brando?
Yes.
How about you, Paige?
Absolutely.
Lenny?
Yes.
Yeah, we're way ahead of you, Mary.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah,
It's
we
more
already
like
caught
a
it.
group think than a race.
I'm going to go backwards a little bit right now to some of the comments we had. And we're going to start with Allison. Allison Bill going at it. And that was starting with Allison. They just need to find a friend that likes to do fun things. But the old men I met literally just want sex. Allison, that's not new to old men. That is new to society.
That's new to all men.
Yeah, it's well, not new to us. We always just want sex, but to the point that we're willing. It's so easy to get.
Okay, so the
With thanks
biggest
to the
problem of all with dating or with men and women is men want sex, women want love, relationship. Seriously, and those don't kind of connect. So when women doesn't get love, the men don't get sex. When the men don't get sex, the woman doesn't get love. So it doesn't kind of work. So you'd have to find someone that has the same values and interests and everything else that coincide with your life. Then those two things mesh.
Okay, I'm gonna call bullshit on you. Okay, I'm gonna flat out call bullshit. I realize that I realize that me and Brando are outranked by the estrogen on this program right now.
We are.
Sorry, but you think guys don't want love? You think that's not what we're looking for?
No. You do want love, but women need a relationship. They need to feel loved because sex is part of love for a woman. Men, sex is pretty much, they want sex. If they don't have love, they can get sex from anywhere else. Women, it takes them longer to kind of process all that and to want to have sex with a man. And they want to be in love with a man before that sex becomes really good. So it takes more time for
I'm still calling bullshit on you.
Yeah.
150%.
It just seems like a sweeping generalization.
No,
It really is.
It's
This
not.
one, Lenny, I've got to disagree with you, and I love disagreeing with you.
It just seems like a big picture statement to make about individuals.
All right, then that's why you're all single.
Taya has frozen on us. I was like,
okay.
I think she's
hopefully
frozen sleeping too.
I was like, it was kind of creepy. She's like,
She is
But
okay,
anyway.
right?
okay, okay, this is gonna be me putting.
Well,
Allie,
tell us the
Lenny
guy-
is not correct.
Tell us the guy's
I
perspective.
know. Yeah, give us the guys.
That's what I'm getting to right now, but we lost Taya for a minute. So
I
I
think
get
it's
really
incredibly.
tired of going out with men that's all that they want.
then you're choosing the men that's all they want.
Yeah, I feel like it's really
Yeah.
a lot
It's
of pressure to
all
put on
men.
Keith's shoulder to describe the entire male perspective.
Well, I'm not trying to describe
There's a
them
lot of
all.
Well, I
them.
can. I got
I'm
Brando
not,
here too.
seriously,
Brando might give me
I'm
a little
not
bit of
trying
words of
to
advice.
do that, so.
Okay, first off, not all men are the same. There are a lot of women out there that are sluts. There are a lot of women that'll sleep with anybody, do anything they can, manipulate every guy at the bar, have them buy them drinks, take care of them, go home, screw them, leave them, never talk to them again. Just as much there's guys willing to do the same thing.
There's not nearly the same amount. I can tell you
Bullshit.
that
The
right
difference
now.
is the
Bullshit.
attitude. No, I have to say that's bullshit. I've talked to a lot of these people, and I hate to bring up the argument like this, but that is, the guys have a personality that they put forward, something you see
It's
that
called
looks like that.
testosterone.
Well,
No.
all right, let me help you out, Keith, as her 30-year best friend. But the persona, Lou, that you put out there brings the testosterone type guy. You go out dialed up, you have your hair done well, you dress great, you attract that kind of person. What Keith is trying to say is there's more than one kind of guy, and some guys do really look for love and really do look for fulfillment. And you know what? Chris, my husband, happens to be one of those guys. And I
But
think you could agree
But,
with that.
okay, I can agree with that. It took you 30 years to find one. Where are the rest of them? I'm telling you, there's just not, and the same thing. with
It's hard to
my
find when
wife.
you're trying to date 3 of them at one time.
No, that's her fault.
She only did that
I mean, you're
once.
talking about guys only wanting that, and you're the one who's like totally trying to date 3 of them at the same time.
No, that was
No,
Is that not
wait,
manipulation?
Wait. No. You got to hear where this came from. It came from a place of trying to get her to not attach so quickly. Because her big thing was attaching too quickly and working with them because, you know, she said, I love you too quick or whatever. And all of a sudden she feels she has to stick up for them instead of seeing them for who they really are.
All right,
And
can I-
P.S., I do it. A lot of my friends do that. I think we all try to see the
One
best in
second
people.
before we go further. Taya, by the way, I don't know what the sound is coming from you. I'm the one periodically muting you on occasion, like unless you start talking, because it's a big crackle over everybody. We don't know what it is. So that's why when you're muted.
It sounds like somebody eating Halloween candy.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like some kind of wrapper, and I thought it was from you guys, but I don't know what's going on. I tried to connect on my computer.
Shut her off for a second. Let's hear.
Didn't really work.
No, it is. When she's off, it's gone. See?
Hear me?
So when you see yourself muted, if I see you talking, you're
So,
about
Taya,
to
we
wave,
love you,
I'll
but
unmute.
goodbye.
Or just mute
So-
yourself and unmute when you want to talk. Can you do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You don't have to go.
You don't have to go. We're kidding.
But I can't really hear you guys either. But I wasn't going to interrupt and be like, all right, I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna try to restart the system and see if I can
Okay.
come back.
Well, we'll
because
see
there's
you
a
when you
lot
come
of
back on that.
topics that I
Don't
wanna
leave
be
us though,
trying
because
to
you're an
talk
awesome guest. You were
Yeah,
you've
don't
been
leave us.
so
We
good
love
on
you.
us.
Yeah,
So
don't
good to
leave.
us.
I'm just getting to know you.
Yeah. So go ahead and
I know,
restart,
I
and we'll
miss
bring
you
you back.
guys.
Okay.
I miss you guys already.
Restart it.
It's
Restart
not
it.
working
And
for
come back.
anybody.
Yeah, we've lost her now. All right.
Poor thing.
Okay.
She's cute.
All right, so back to our argument.
Okay.
I do get what Lenny's trying to say. I get that men are more sexual creatures in terms of they don't have to have the same level of emotion as some women, but there's a lot of women that are that way too, that just like sex without having to have
See,
that
that
level
is
of
the
emotion.
general-
Right, you use the
Generation
word
that ruins
some,
it.
yeah.
The truth is, there's a lot of humans like that.
Yeah.
It's not relegated to men are that way. Women see men that way because they know what they want inside. But men see women in that way because inside they still know what they want too.
Well,
And
and,
women
also
look like
societal
that.
pressures and propaganda. Like,
Oh my God.
what's been shoved down our throat forever that men are
Brandon.
this way and women are this
Wait,
Yes.
time out. What was
I want
shoved
to
down
give
your throat?
the idea of men being entirely sexual creatures and women
Right.
being entirely romantic creatures.
I didn't say
So listen to this,
entirely,
my
guys.
college
I did not
boyfriend
say
and I
entirely.
still talk once in
I
a
wasn't-
while. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mary.
Listen, my college boyfriend has been, he's 57, 58 as well, and he's been dating. He is so freaked out that every woman he goes out with wants to sleep that night. He's like, they're at their sexual prime. I don't know what to do. I can't keep up.
Well, time
He's
out.
been
Is he
funny.
dating 20-year-olds?
No, he's dating same age because they're at their sexual prime in their
Okay.
50s.
I'm gonna. Allison says I'm gonna get back to you, Brando, because I really want your opinion on some
Okay.
of this too. But Allison says maybe it's just me, and in a sense, it's not you. Lenny's shaking her head no, but it is partly too because it's your expectations and what you see. Just like it is partly my fault when I deal with that, and probably Brando's, and it was Mary's and Paige's. It's probably all been our fault at some point because of our expectations. But it's not you as a person. You're not a bad person. But getting back to what some other people have wrote on here, like Wayne says, not all guys just want sex. Love's extremely hard to find, at least for him. That's extremely true. I believe this is Nicole, says, our other shoulder says, not all men think with the wrong head. Her husband was lonely. He just wanted to be loved. Women do have a tendency to mistake sex for love, though, and men are able to disconnect. That, I believe, is totally
I believe
true.
that's totally true. And that was kind of, I guess maybe I didn't say it in the right way, but I think she wrote that in the right way.
I figured it was you, Nikki.
Well, and that's biology and biological perspective. There is
difference-
science backing that up. There is
difference
not
is the
so
out-
much.
I think it's the outward appearance. I think it's the outside appearance that they give off. Guys, like you said, are able to disconnect. They can have sex and leave, but women can do that too. Women they fall in love with the sex, I think, more often than men do. I do think that's typically true in a lot of occasions, more often, not all of them. Because
No,
of what
I
you
don't think
said,
so.
Lenny, well, then if that's the case,
I
then it
think
goes
more
against your
women
argument
have
that they need
better
love for
with
sex.
themselves.
then it would go against your argument. But aside from that, Brando, what do you have to say on some of this? Because you're a guy that I'm pretty sure also is in the same boat as me or Wayne or Greg out there. So what do you have to say?
Knowing from like, I've seen a lot of guys and girls like both that just want like I've seen a lot of like I've known a lot of people that just went out for sex and stuff and that just like broke a lot of hearts, and they but also like there are a lot of guys out there that just want to be loved and stuff, and like I have friends that like never like had love and stuff, that's all they want, whatever, and never had that. And same with a lot of girls and stuff like I've seen in life, but I've seen
true.
you know that are just out there just to get around and stuff, but there's a lot out there just wanting to be loved and stuff, and it's like I've seen it like even amount like both perspectives and stuff, whatever, and it's like it's wild out there. It's
Do you ever think that sometimes it's development of pattern and routine? That guys like, especially with guys, I will say guys' hormones in school in their younger years definitely care more about sex than love. I will probably grant you that 100%. Most of them do. And I think that what happens is the guys do change, but they're stuck in this pattern of it's just sex. And I think that might have something to do with it.
See, I've got to kind of go against it because that might be like, you know, their first few years of being able to do it, but they're better boyfriends back then.
Mm-hmm.
They're better boyfriends in high school.
Because they put out.
I think they have a more sense of romance. You know, they want to hold hands and they want to,
but this is my question. What you just contradicted. Well, yeah, but they're doing it so they can fuck you. They really are. That's one of their main goals.
I think they're doing it so they can stay there with the popular girl, or they
when
can
you're
stay
in high
there with...
school and college, a lot of times that is what it is. But I literally just said that most guys are just trying to bang the women, and sex can be just sex. It doesn't mean they won't find somebody they like. But when they're single, they have lots of options to choose from.
I trusted younger guys better than I trusted older guys.
But when I said all that the younger guys are the ones looking for sex, you just said they're the better people to date. So
because I trusted them. I don't think they were. I'm disagreeing. I think the younger ones are maybe a little more experimental in sex and excited to be starting down that path. But I think they're more looking for a true girlfriend. I felt that way anyway.
I believe that has a lot to do with home life too.
You know, they have the little crush at your locker and they follow you around the hallways and you can't wait to see them at a party. I mean, they're more into the crush factor than the sex factor.
Well, I'll bring you a little bit into my world, since more than I don't want to keep arguing with people because it's hard to argue with women that are always wrong. And I'm kidding, of course. You're not wrong. Paige, don't hate me.
You're just saying that because I agreed with you.
Yeah, but you didn't agree with what I just said. So anyway,
you don't know that.
My thing. Okay, so growing up, I mentioned on the previous show, I was a total slut. I mentioned that I pretty much had sex, and then I went into the bar industry where sex became very common play. You know, and I would do it. But what I always longed for in the background was somebody to be there. And sometimes I felt I had to have sex in order to get them to even start to like me or get a second date out of it. Because sometimes you get a fear. If you don't put out, you're not getting a second date. If you don't do something like that. And I doubt that men are exclusive to that. I think women deal with that too. That sometimes when they're dating, they feel if they, not you, Lenny, because Lenny, you just don't care. Which I admire. Like, I fully respect your attitude on this. I really do. In some ways, I wish I could be that way. And then, of course, as the world knows, I really don't care who it is. You can be a man or a woman. I'm fine with that because my attraction to people come from who they are inside. When you get to know somebody, I am actually, people would call me a bisexual. I am not a bisexual per se because I'm not attracted to either sex. Sex was just an action until I get to like that person. Mm-hmm. Once I start to like that person, regardless whether they're male or female, every feature they have, whether it's a big-ass fucking mole on their face or anything, I'm going to learn to find attractive.
Right.
So this is where I definitely come in with the idea of guys are looking for a lot more. Because during my teen years, when I first started at a bar, during my early 20s, I was the same way, but what I was doing was just out of the need to feel wanted. It wasn't out of the act of sex. It was a need to feel wanted. And that, I think, is what scares you. And now I'm on these apps. I'm on a lot of these dating apps right now. just because I'm looking for people, my honest thing is to get to know, hang out, stuff like that. I don't want to. My first line in every dating app is, "You're not going to make it. You're not hooking up. We're not doing anything like that." But I've come to find out that if you write that, you're fucking lying. You're using that for an excuse. And that's all I try to find. But everybody on there, if you're not going to put out your history, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. And that's where I get at. I think guys are definitely emotional as well, but guys do not show it as much. I think we have a lot in common with each other. Women are willing to show that emotion more often. Women want the outward, "I'm a woman." Guys want the outward, "I'm a man."
I would
And it's all
argue
about appearance.
are allowed to show.
That
versus
is also,
want to show.
I agree.
And that's what it goes back to is I think there's so much societal pressure on both sexes.
I can't
to
talk on
adhere
this
to these
show.
concepts.
I can't talk the way I talk on the show. I can't talk in the real world half the time. I can't say stuff like that.
Why not?
They don't understand it. My job is to be the guy. Somebody flashes me their tits at the bar. Hey, they're tits. I like them. You know, and I do like breasts. Do not get me wrong. But I am not. But I am not goo goo gaga over them. But I've got to play the part of being the guy that's, oh yeah, you know, hey, titty twins. You know, I've got to play that part. And guys have to play a part because they're not just looking for acceptance from you. They're looking for acceptance from the other guys in the room as well.
Why don't we do an experiment on the show where
Ooh, we did one last week. Let's hear it.
act your authentic. Look, it's going to be hard because we're social distancing still, but maybe when everything reopens.
So no groping.
Why don't you go 90 days being your true authentic self and journal it every day?
Oh, wait,
I'll
you
make a
can't.
movie out of it. I'll make a
Yeah.
For me, you can't do that. For me, you can't do that because one thing that has happened to me over the last 10 plus years, especially, I don't care. Just as I'm talking to you, you guys know me at the bar, and I am the same person.
Yeah.
Now,
You know,
I
here-
don't hide and I don't follow those tropes anymore with anybody, but I do understand how it happens. I've broken up with my girlfriend several times because somebody flashed me at the bar, and I wasn't supposed to like it. I've had girls that have left me, like I said.
That's a
being-
whole different issue, though.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying this is what leads up to being single and thinking you're never going to find
for being
somebody.
your authentic self for 90 days. I'm on to it. I'll do it. I'll journal it every day. If
I
all
won't
of us
journal
did
it.
that-
I don't have to. And
Right,
I
but
literally mean that. I am one of
seriously.
those few people. I do not have to journal my authentic self because when you are with me one-on-one, when you're with me at the bar, you may
No.
see a different outward appearance, but you see the same me.
Okay. But
Well,
you
especially giving
Time
Go
out.
ahead.
He even told me today that he enjoys doing that trivia because he can just be himself. But sometimes when you have to be, this bigger than life personality, doing the stuff that you do outside of that with Kit Kat or whatever it may be, this entertainment side of you. Why don't you just start the whole thing up and say, okay, I am just simply going to be me. I'm not the entertainer me. I'm going to just be me and let that be that.
So I have to add a secondary thing to that, though, because when he's at work, he is an entertainer. I mean, that is
I
part
know.
of his
That
job.
is.
That's
I want
that's
to
a little
continue that
different.
in a minute. I'm
That's a
going to
little
rebut
different.
that in a minute. I want to
Okay.
talk about Brian right here. And again, he's bringing up the communication and the way that phone social media has changed that. And not just social media, even phones.
Yeah.
Even texting. Texting has killed a lot of relationships because no matter what, through texting, you cannot inference the emotions you're feeling. And anything you say can come off as good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you could write the word fine, and we already know when a woman says fine, that means there's a problem. But a guy says it, and you can never. It does. If you say you look fine, you don't tell a woman she looks fine, unless you're like, you look fine. But fine, if a woman says fine, like, is there anything wrong? No, I'm fine. There's a problem.
Right.
Typically, and that is a generalization
Right.
term.
Yeah,
Paige,
right.
you're an exception,
It's the attitude.
obviously.
if I'm fine, I'm fine.
But the way that text messaging, and people prefer texting over talking, which I think also kills you a lot of times for as far as getting to know somebody, because you hear in their voice. I say a lot of I'm sarcastic and crude, but I can say it in a joking way. If I type the same things I say in text, you think I'm being a fucking asshole. And
Oh, yeah, there's
I'm trying
nothing
to
worse.
joke.
There's nothing worse than texting for a relationship. In fact, I just tell people when I did date back at the beginning of it, I'd always say, we're not texting, call me.
Yeah, you text me, you're done.
Because
I'm done
then
with
I
it.
would call Lynn. I'd be
You
like,
better
Lynn,
call me.
here's what he wrote. What does this mean? What do I write back? How do I handle this? It's
Yeah.
so stupid. That's not authentic.
Back when I was starting to date, right outside of my relationship where I decided no thank you, one of the people I was talking to told me that my texting style was entirely too formal, and he felt like he was dating a professor, so that couldn't be a thing anymore.
I've
I was
got
like,
two things.
really?
I've got two things to bring up. One is a very good point, and it actually works. Even though it's the guy talking about it, it works from both sides. And it's just from experience. I found women just want money. I'm not that good looking and don't have a lot of money, but damn, I deserve love. I think that is very
Aw.
deep. That is very harsh, Wayne. Wayne, you 100% deserve love because everybody on this planet does deserve love.
Absolutely.
And
A
and
lot of
Wayne,
times-
yeah, you will find the right one that doesn't want what you're maybe have or don't.
Do you
have.
sometimes? I'm going to say it from a guy's perspective, and women may be different because there's also guys that just want money from well-established women as well. So that's not uncommon to either sex. But sometimes, do you always assume when a woman wants things that she wants, that's what she wants you for? Because some women, they are a little bit needy and they do want different things like that. You know, they want nice dinners and stuff. But that doesn't always mean they're using you for money with anybody. Sometimes it's just the environment they were raised in. They're used to the nicer things, and it can come off as they don't like you, they only want the money. Because if you ever feel you don't deserve love, well, then you're never going to find it. Because you deserve love from one person to begin with, and that's always yourself. No matter what, you have to love everything about you. You already saying that you are not that good looking. That's not true. Nobody is the perfect person for everybody. There are going to be people, there are going to be people out there, you look at, we'll go around the entire room. I mean, you can start with me. I'm a big guy. People hate big guys. Other people love big guys. We got Brandon. Brandon's got that beard and that weird samurai ponytail man bun thing going on up there. And, you know, some people are going to find that adorable that he looks like a little old troll doll. And some people are going to think that it's weird and he's kind of a freak and going to steer clear. Mary's got a very nice style to her. She's got a very professional look, and some guys don't like that. They might like somebody who likes to dress wild and crazy, and then you got other people who are going to love the way they dress. Lenny, some people just don't like blondes. Some people don't like glasses. You're screwed.
I know.
And Paige, same thing really. You speak
Start a
your
list.
mind. People are going to hate you for speaking your mind. They're never going to like you, want to talk to you because you're too blunt. However, other people love your open honesty. Every single person out there deserves love, but sometimes you seek the wrong person. That's where shallowness comes into it. And as much as shallowness is a problem, we all do it. We just don't realize we do. Because we're also looking at the people that we don't want. And there are people that I'm not interested in. It could be, mostly it's personality flaws. Sometimes it's not, and I don't give them a chance either. We can all be shallow, and sometimes, Wayne, that's your problem too. Sometimes love stares you right in the face and you dismiss it. Mm-hmm. Because you won't give it a shot for one reason or another.
And if you ever question that there's somebody for everybody, once everything's reopened, go sit in a mall. I mean, you will see obese couples, skinny couples, mixed couples, you know.
And that's honestly my problem.
Literally every kind of couple. So it proves there's somebody for everybody.
That in a lot of ways has been my problem too, because I figure I'm a big guy, but I figure I'm a good looking guy. I don't think I look bad in any way. Lenny just blacked me out. She doesn't want to look at this good looking guy here.
No,
you know?
I had a phone call coming through.
And I see these other guys that are short. They weigh more than I do. They're way shorter than I do. They literally are dirty. They dress terribly. And they're with these wonderful people who love them for them. And that always makes me think, topic of another show, what is wrong with me?
All right, hold on
what
one
is
second, though. So Wayne, I have to get back to Wayne's comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
There are some women, that's their need. You know, just like men want, the certain physique and sex. Well, some women want money. They want status. They want someone that will take care of them. So that might be that specific woman's need. But there are plenty of women out there that don't need you to throw your money at them, but throw your love at them. relationship at them.
What
These
you're
all
s-
these all just seem like manipulations or exaggerations, I should say, of the 5 love languages. Like that's ultimately it just seems like on a deeper scale because some people gifts are what their love language is. Some people are touch. So this quote unquote need for sex or need for money in order to feel loved, it just seems like they're not willing to or able to even kind of morph it down into something small. You know what I mean?
It
Ignore me,
seriously
rambling.
all does come down to needs.
Hmm?
Everyone has certain needs that have to be met. And if you find that person that meets those needs and you meet their needs, then it's going to be a good relationship. When you
Yeah.
have two people that are not on the same wavelength, then it's just you have to keep going out there until you find the right one, I guess.
But you see, that goes into a little bit. I'm going to get to Brian's message in a minute. That goes into a little bit what we were talking about. Wayne is also kind of shallow in that sense because you don't want a high maintenance person. You don't want somebody that was raised having those nice things. You have a shallow aspect to you don't always realize or see. And sometimes you have to look, and if you want love, love is not physical in any way. It really isn't. It is not based on looks. Lust is. It's not based on material possessions. Greed is. It is based on what is inside. It is finding the one part of somebody that the rest of the world doesn't get to see.
Yep.
And as I was saying with Brian's comment here, and that is everything, mixed emotions come across through text, and he was just reiterating that when you're texting somebody, your emotions don't come across. And if you've ever been in love or found somebody you really like, sometimes your most magical moments are the way they said one phrase to you, the way their voice sounded, where their hand was at the time. I mean, maybe, well, it could be other places, but maybe it was around your shoulder. Maybe you were resting on their shoulder. Maybe they were sitting, you were standing in the kitchen and their arms were around you from the back. You know, there's those little emotions that you just can't get through text conversations that make you start to fall in love with somebody. And Jeffrey here, hi Jeff, shallowness is one thing for sure, however there needs to be an attraction at a base level. That is true. That's what I was talking about when I said some people don't like blondes, some people don't like fat people, they don't like troll dolls, they don't like Miss Prissies, and, you know, or business, however you want to do it. And I'm not insulting anybody on this panel when I'm saying that. I'm just saying that's how some people view them. I like troll dolls, so there you go.
I was gonna say, is that a compliment?
Yeah, so we're okay on that. But everybody does. But for some people, the attraction is not physical. Some people literally, I have never turned somebody down for a physical feature in my life.
But you know what they say on every dating app, and Match did this from the very beginning. They say send 1 or 2 messages, have a phone call, and meet each other in person. Because if the chemistry isn't there, the chemistry isn't there. You know, and Keith, back to what you said, maybe you should do a show on what's wrong with me. That I go through that with all my single friends, and I really thought we'd spend a lot of time on it tonight. I was thinking about it all day.
That is an actual topic coming up, is what's wrong with me.
There's nothing wrong with you. You're awesome. Look at all the wonderful friends that you have.
The point of the titles of our shows, What's Wrong With Me, is to point out that there's nothing wrong with you. Just like Forever Single, to point out you don't have to be forever single.
But the whole point, but the whole thing is like, it's so hard to understand it when you're in that single realm if you don't want to be. But it's like being with the wrong person keeps you from meeting the right person. So you, 100 times over, you want to be single instead of with the wrong one. But to get in that path of it must be me, it's because I'm fat, it's because I'm not working out, it's because I'm ugly, it's because of my nose. People get in that
because
pattern.
I'm blonde, it's because I'm brunette.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You can say that because you're with somebody and you know you keep yourself. But for these poor people that don't, they can really get themselves in a spiral, and it's so wrong. Like you have to.
It does. It hurts because you think that there's something. Like we said, what's wrong with you because somebody doesn't like that one feature.
The most
but
poignant,
you can't control it.
Yeah, the most poignant thing I ever said to Lynn in the middle of my 16 years of being single was, because most people would turn me down because they thought immediately I was high maintenance or
that's what I was saying.
I remember I had that one guy on my birthday say to me, "Oh, I couldn't handle that." And it was so humiliating to me, you know, and because I look good, you can't handle that. I mean, like what? But I remember saying to Lynn, I wish I felt on the inside like what people see on the outside, because I don't feel like that on the inside. When I didn't date for 16 years, I thought it was because I wasn't good looking enough. I wasn't skinny enough. I wasn't in a good enough shape. Like, I was there too. And the thing is, we have to start putting together a list of what we want, not what we aren't.
I'm going to go back a little bit on the comments. I want to point out something from something we were talking about a few minutes ago, Bill. When Lenny says, or you mentioned the 90 days of being your true self, Bill said something that makes sense.
I'm
Nobody
gonna
wants
have to
see
run
that
out
from me.
I have to step away for 1 sec. I'll be right
Okay,
back.
that's fine. That's fine. One thing that Bill said, nobody wants to see that from me, and that's absolutely true. They want to see that outgoing, fun person. Like, as far as the career goes and the job, and when you're there, you have to be somebody that also presents what people want to see. And the Allison hit it right back with, that's who I am. The thing is, people don't realize they do see that from me. They just see it with a smile. They see it with the energy. I'm going to go back down here. First, Bill, lay the fuck off page. Okay?
What?
He's asking you to be his 15th engagement.
Sorry. No. Nothing against you. I just don't like the number 15.
Oh, so you got to wait one. We'll see if Allie works out first.
Well, yeah.
And Bill, you mentioned here I should have been on this panel. Yeah, you should have. Anytime you see any topic posted, feel free to say you want to be a guest here on ESV. We'd love to have you. Completely. And, well, they're just having their information. Go on a bike ride with me, then we're going to have sex with me. So Allie and Bill will hook up by the end of the show, which is awesome. But they're not going to get married, so you don't have to worry about rushing into 16 anytime soon.
It's like the match game, and we didn't even know it.
We're that good.
I'm so
We're definitely that
excited.
good.
This has all been worth something.
So if I asked, what is wrong, Brandon, have you ever felt that there was something wrong with you, why people don't like you?
Yeah. I mean, like, I always question that, like, whenever, like, if I've been broken up with, and which has been multiple times, but I like, kind of, like, wonder, like, what did I do wrong? Because, like, it hurts. And, like, now I'm like, what do I got to adjust in my life? What do I got to fix about myself and stuff to, like, make sure this doesn't happen again and stuff? Like,
and here's where this is what leads you into a circle of never being happy and feeling like you're always alone. Because what you do is you're who you are. Somebody doesn't like who you are. But there's 100 other people that would have liked who you are. Now, because of this one, you change who you are, and now you've isolated this 100 people that would have liked you anyway.
Yep.
And that creates a huge circle. No matter what, you're always distancing. You will never be perfect for everybody. Everybody loves me, but I will never be that special someone for a good portion of the people out there. One reason or another, whether it's physical. Some people can't have, we talked about one of our shows before with the mental disorders, that people just can't deal with outgoing people. They are introverts. I am definitely not. I'm a social butterfly.
Okay, I'm going to say one thing really quick. Mary's not here, and I wish she was, but she went through this time, 16 years or whatever it was, and I was a very good friend of hers at the time. And a big part of her issue was the fact that she was a very beautiful professional, made her own money. She was a very intimidating source. I'm talking about you, Mary, at the moment. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear?
She's muted still.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay. I was just starting to tell a little bit of your story that maybe you don't even know. But so Mary went through this big span of being single, and a lot of it was she was this very beautiful, outgoing, very smart, professional woman who I think that most men were very intimidated by. And it took the man that she's with now to see through all of that. So there is someone out there for everyone. I mean, it's...
If there isn't, is your life that bad? Though someone's
on who you
out
are.
there,
That's
you may
another-
never cross
that's
paths
another
with
good
them.
If you're
question,
looking, if you're not looking,
but-
it doesn't matter. If you're looking, it might matter.
But
That's
put a-
where
put
loving
a
yourself
bow-
is important.
But put a bow on the other thing first, because it doesn't matter. Is it because I'm out of shape, or I have, bad teeth, or is it because I have too much going for me? Like, think of a supermodel. Supermodels have a really tough time dating. And the truth is, it's getting that skill set and having a good support system to know what's in your heart and finding people that have the same. Now, is it okay to be single? Yeah, let's tackle that.
Welcome back. Yeah,
Back
is it
better
okay to
than
be
ever.
single?
Hopefully we won't have any more problems.
All right. We still got crackling, but it's okay.
Do we really?
Yeah.
It's terrible. You try so hard and you got so
I don't know what it is. It's got to be something with the connection on there. That's okay. You're fine. If I do mute you, it's just temporary. So,
Whatever.
so just
I'm
don't
here
worry
now.
about it. It's not you being muted. But is it okay to be single? Is it okay to not find anybody?
Absolutely.
It's okay to live with the loneliness?
Well,
It's
do you
okay
have
to
to be
live with
lonely?
that.
Like Lynn and I always say, if we're single again, we're staying single and we're going to be roommates.
Okay, but you know what? It doesn't always work that way, and it really doesn't. You try to, but what if you're one of those people that the people get obsessive with? Like every time you think you find somebody, they are completely obsessed with you.
Well,
That
again,
pushes
if
you
you're
away.
if you're doing your real heart and you're being genuine and you're finding somebody with the right heart for you and they're genuine, you're not going to attract that obsessive person. You're not going to let them
disagree
stay in your
100%.
orbit. I don't think they're
Yeah,
going to stay in your
no.
orbit.
I don't. I know a lot of people who are not obsessive people that become quite obsessive,
Well, I'm pretty
That's
quick
what
to boot them.
relationships do.
I'll boot them
Yeah.
to the curb personally.
even before the relationship. Yeah, but look what you're saying. I mean, people want to be with somebody. If you find somebody that wants to be with you, even to the excessive point, you boot them to the curb. You're still alone, and you're still looking.
But
And
then
they're
you're
so
looking for the
Yeah.
right one.
That's just part of the dating thing. That's just like dating the loser
goes-
guy.
It goes back
Okay,
to
well, in
exactly
all my
what you
years,
said, Mary.
that's pretty much what I deal with.
Obsessive.
Yeah, if you
That's because you're
to
a
the
rock
point-
star.
I know
Man,
that.
who wouldn't be obsessed with you, Keith?
No,
Yeah.
I get that.
I mean, really and truly, though, you
As
do
funny
have a
as the
celebrity.
great as it
you
is-
have an essence of celebrity about you, so you
Right.
have to weed that out and get to the true authentic.
How do you weed it out?
We're like,
Do you want to know
time is he
you
going
want to
to
know
meet
my
them,
real
you know?
answer? My real answer is
Yeah.
through prayer. And that's
Okay.
how I ended up meeting my husband. I am a very spiritual person, and I prayed about everything but dating for my entire 15 years of being single. And finally, in the 16th year, I was like, God, I really am ready to have somebody have dinners with, because I had a really fun Monday through Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday was pretty lonely. And even my married friends could all go out on a Tuesday or Wednesday, but no one could on a Friday. So I was like, okay, God, I want to pray, but I don't want the church guy. Like, don't bring me some nerd. And I finally prayed about it, and it, bam, like that.
I got a couple things here. First, Wayne, this is directed to all the women on the panel right now. Wayne's asking, he wants to know, what can you do? We've got a Raj on our hands. You cannot talk to women unless you're drinking. I'm like, Wayne is scared shitless to talk to women. Now, my thing on that too is you could come off as being a drinker and a drunk all the time, so that's obviously something to push away.
Right.
So how would you suggest he handles it? Let's start with Taya. How would you suggest
I
he
do the
handles it?
same thing, Wayne.
Okay, not a good example there.
Anxiety. Let me tell you something. No, I mean, if you're a good guy, good people like you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They'll see past it, but don't push it to that limit.
All right, I have to say something to Wayne.
Okay.
The men that I am attracted to are very intelligent, kind of shy, and I hate it when men like come on to me too quick. So there are women out there that if you are just authentically you and start talking about what the things that you like to do and the things that that you're happy with, and you start just casually talking to someone, if that person sees that you're being authentic, you're going to wind up with another person that is authentic, and you may just find that just perfect person.
But-
Do not go to alcohol, because I had that happen to me as well. And I wound up in a 4-year relationship with someone that was an alcoholic, and it became tragic at the end of it all.
Okay,
So
I've been in a
just be who
relationship
you are.
with an alcoholic, several of them, and it's been
We're
absolutely
not
awful.
saying, Wayne, that you're an alcoholic.
However, what Wayne is trying
That
to
was
say
last
right
week's
now, he
episode.
doesn't have that option. The approaching, because for some people, even people on this panel, drinking or doing certain things relaxes you to the point that you're eased up. So alcohol can be a solution without being a devastating addiction.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, one drink's okay,
Yeah.
or even
Have a
2
couple
drinks is
drinks,
okay.
it's no big
Why
deal.
don't you girls, Paige and Taya, why don't you give him a couple of questions that are interesting questions for you, not the superficial kind of stuff that drives you crazy.
Paige, you want to go first?
Yeah, Paige can go first.
Basically, I you could point out that the paint on the bar wall looks cool that day or what. That's fine. It really doesn't matter as long as
Natural conversation.
yeah, and that's
Exactly
really
that.
what it
If
comes
I
down
can
to.
see exactly who you are from, having a conversation that could be about nothing, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking for. I want genuine connection. I really don't believe in faking things. So I'm sure that's why we hate small talk, Paige. I'm not going to pretend.
And can you guys agree with this? To ask a few questions. I went on my worst bad dates. They would sit and tell you their resume. I'm like, don't need to know it. Sorry.
Bill says
If they're
to somebody
excited
on the
about
panel
sharing
earlier.
that's fine. But I don't know. I don't want it because it's a script. Do you know?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, you don't want to.
That's what I'm getting with
I
Bill's
don't want a
comment
script.
right now.
And
Bill,
I don't want your list of qualifications. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want
Right.
to sit here and
earlier, if I can.
And we
one
don't need to
second
know
here.
all your
We're running
all
out
your
of time,
flaws.
so just 1 second here. Okay. Bill said you shouldn't call anyone a loser. Somebody on the panel had said that when they were talking about their previous dating experiences, which is fine. You can. The reason being is with this panel is together, people relate to it because we're real people. We're just talking about life. We're talking naturally as if we were sitting around a table, drinking, playing cards, doing whatever. And you can say what you want to say. Some people, and I know this for a fact, Bill, really admire others who speak their mind, no matter how politically incorrect it is. And you may not use the right words, but it's really nice to see somebody who isn't afraid of what the world thinks of them. And that can be a big impact, and that's where this show was birthed from. Yes, I do work in bars, and everyone is considered an alcoholic. Alcoholics give me a career. It doesn't make it the right decision, though. There are a lot of people that drink comfortably. And Wayne, going back to your question on that, drinking is not bad, I personally don't think, to get you into that mood to be able to talk to people and relate to them. But when you do, know your limit. Know when you're going to go from talking to rambling. Know when you're going to go to from just being yourself to trying to impress. You want to find that middle ground where if you drink, you're comfortable. And sit down with somebody and just talk. You're in the bar a lot, and if karaoke's going on or a band, talk about what's happening. Like, bring something up. Don't approach them. It is cliche and terrible 90% of the time to go up with some kind of line to try to grab their attention.
Yeah.
If you could just be
good.
yourself. There's certain ones.
Honestly,
There's certain
if
ones
it's bad,
that's
Good. It might make
good. If
you
it's
laugh.
bad, it's got a better shot.
yeah.
Because sometimes
for real.
lines can be so bad they work.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
It's
never
like
going to work
an
on me, but I'll
icebreaker.
laugh.
Yeah.
And just so you know, Allison totally thinks you guys should be roommates. It was the best time of her life. They worked together. They shopped together. They had a great time.
Oh, we've
so.
already been roommates on multiple occasions.
You should
Every
continue.
time we're single, we're roommates.
Truth. So, no, it's not going to happen at this point. Roommates often turn into relationships too, though. I mean, you try that. Not necessarily if you're not gay, obviously not two females or two males, but sometimes living with people that you like, roommates can be the same thing because you can start to develop that emotional. And when you see a side of somebody's life that the world doesn't see, that is what you become attached to. And I always pretty much impressed on that when I see how people are. I mean, everything we've heard on here tonight has been absolutely amazing, especially whatever's going on with Taya's mic.
Our favorite song.
I swear there is somebody right in front of Taya eating popcorn going, this is a good show.
It's the Halloween candy.
Oh, she left, so she didn't have to leave. Yes, she's pre-Halloween gaming. You know, everybody out there often feels that they're alone at some point in their life. And they want to blame themselves. They believe that it is entirely their fault. And it's not. The biggest time you're going to find somebody is when you stop looking for them. That is something that has been cliche, and it's actually very true. Because when you stop looking, you stop caring about putting on an impression. And you naturally start being yourself more often. And if you don't love yourself, I don't care how much people say it is stupid to say, you will not be loved. You can't be. Because if you can't see the good things about yourself, you will reject anybody else that sees them for you. You will think they're just saying it. You won't believe what it can be. If somebody compliments you, absorb that compliment. They're seeing something that maybe you don't, but accept it and learn what makes you such a great person. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't care who you are. If you're on this panel, if you're watching at home, if you're watching in the car, you're watching it later, if you have never seen this in your entire life, you deserve to be loved by at least 2 people in your life. The first one being you. And anybody could be that second one. It doesn't matter who it is.
Fuck.
The hardest thing you can ever do, though, is dismiss somebody. And I'm going to say that. I said that in an earlier show about dismissal being one of the hardest issues that people face. When somebody approaches you and they dismiss you, it hurts so much. But the person that's dismissing you doesn't realize how much damage you're doing. How much they're thinking, wow, if on this one feature they can dismiss me, I've got to change who I am. No. You need to tell that person to get the fuck out and find somebody who loves you for those features. Because they are out there. And don't think people are looking. Don't think people are using automatically. You can definitely spot the ones there are. Not everybody's perfect. But the problem's not with you. It will always be with them. And that's very true. My name is Keith Litfin. This has been Ear, Shoulder, Voice. We today have been talking about a very deep subject, which was, of course, Forever Single. How you handle being alone. A lot of us don't handle it well. A lot of us do. A lot of us accept it. If you feel you're one of those people, don't give up. But maybe it's time to stop the search and let it come to you. I mean, if you reach for the sun, you will chase and chase for hours, and eventually you're just going to end up burned to a crisp. But if you lay back in your bed and wait long enough, the sun's going to rise and shine light on everything around you. So always remember that. Always remember that good things will come to you if you wait. This coming Sunday, we're going to have a different one. It's about last night's the Sweetest Day special. There we're going to talk about pretty much what happened on Sweetest Day, but not necessarily just Sweetest Day. We're going to talk about the best and worst dates we've had, fun times, bad times, just an all-around good time. It's not going to be as deep, of course, because it's a Sunday show, and Sundays are happy days. So we like that on there. I also want to specifically thank Kenneth James tonight. Kenneth, you are absolutely fantastic on
Thank
here.
you, man,
Kenny.
Song.
Thank you. I love all of you guys so
Yes.
Love you
much.
too.
This is
Absolutely.
beautiful,
You're the
man.
man, Kenny.
We love having you on here. You write some great music. I hope people do find you on iTunes, Spotify, and stuff, and start to get more music on there. Please always share with us. Always come on. You're a pleasure to have on at any time.
I appreciate it.
Yes. Don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe to Ear, Shoulder, Voice on YouTube and Facebook. Get notified of all our broadcasts. Join live. Just generally have a good time and be part of the world with us, because we are just like you. We're real people with real life and real experiences, and we'd love to have you back. I am Keith Litfin. I hope you all have a great night. Thank you again for joining ESV. And up there, Brandon, absolute pleasure. Paige, thank you.
Mwah.
Linny,
Goodbye, guys.
you're amazing. Mary,
From me too. Thanks for
and
having me.
of
It was
course,
fun.
thumbs up. Cheers to Kenneth.
Yeah.
I love you all, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate
We
it.
love you too. Who would have thought that lasted longer than the addiction?
Holy shit. That one could have went all night long.
I think it's because I was so rambly.
No, that's okay. No, everybody has some good stuff to say. That one lasted a while. That was good though.
Yeah. Well, I think it's so relatable to so many people.
I have to
on
bounce.
so many
Get
levels.
my house.
Nice to meet you, Paige.
Bye,
It was
Paige.
super nice to meet everyone. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you on here, Paige.
I was watching the television with the live stream, and I just want to say I feel very disrespected that you did not tell me goodbye.
Oh.
That's because you weren't there.
There.
It was supposed to be you were supposed to say it on your own, but then I realized Brandon wasn't cued in on how to do that, so I kind of had to just hit in the row.
I
Supposed to be
did.
the
I
people
did
there.
say it on my own. I said it over here, and
I want to
cheers
tell you though,
our
Taya,
friend, and
we're still on air, so it
Yeah,
wasn't
we're still
goodbye.
on air, so
So ready? Everybody
Goodbye,
wants
guys.
to say,
Thank you for tuning
yeah.
in to Ear,
Remember
Shoulder,
the after
Voice.
show.
Remember the after show. Exactly.
Let me see your newscaster persona.
Wow, that was like instant.
Well,
Here I
thanks
am,
for asking.
like Clark Kent in the phone booth.
96.9 WNLD News. I'm Taya Oglesby, and we're coming to you live. Did you like
Nice.
it?
Good job.
Tell me about it.
That was
Good
awesome.
doing. How you liking it so far?
Oh, I
Doing
love
the
it. I
broadcasting,
love it
yeah.
a lot. I love what I go to school for. Feel like I actually learn a lot being home. I'm learning more than I thought I would being at home.
Even though you're going to feel really burned out, do internships. Do as many as you can. Do
Yeah, I'm
100.
trying to. With that, we're everything shut down right now.
I
So
know.
I don't really have
No,
an option.
they're starting to look. They're starting to look for interns again. I saw a couple things
Are
online.
they?
Brandon,
Yeah,
I gotta
there's a couple
apologize to
different
you.
spots,
I really.
But
Oh, sorry.
specs,
I'll get to you in a
I'm
minute.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. Talk.
But
Whatever.
my school itself does internships through the school.
Just do them on your own. I mean, go use theirs, but do them on your own too.
Yeah.
We were totally outnumbered, Brandon. I really
Yeah.
wanted to get my friend Mark on here, like, so it would have been even.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we were definitely outnumbered. on
Keith,
this.
you're the one that put the line up. Just saying.
Well, I had a different one planned. I had Mark planned to be on here, but he couldn't make it. He had a real estate thing he had to do. Because I wanted him, because he's one who would have been perfect for this, and especially expressing the emotions. Because with me, I'm kind of the deal with it emotion type person. I'm good with it. It doesn't really bother me all that much.
I know.
It
I
does-
thought it would be a little bit more about, hang in there and you'll find somebody. And
Mary, it just depends where it goes. Sometimes
Yeah.
It really does.
just-
That's the point of the
it's
show.
just-
It's literally we're
yeah,
just talking
goes
with a
where it
topic in
goes.
mind.
yeah, which is great. No, it was very organic. I loved it. I'm not saying I didn't like it,
Yeah.
but that's my whole point. It was just kind of funny because I thought it might be a little more mopey, but you covered like every aspect, and the way you do your monologues, I thought I was watching Edward R. Murrow, It was really
I'm gonna pretend
amazing.
and laugh like I know who that is.
Oh, you gotta look him up. Look him up. The first true broadcaster, and he always had a cigarette.
That's the thing. That's the whole point of it. It's supposed to be natural, and we don't know where the show's ever going to go. We just
Yeah.
want to have the general topic because we want people to relate. We don't want to tell them. We want them to say, "I feel that way."
Right.
We want to say, "I've been there. I know what you mean." Oh, is that how you dealt with it? Okay, I've
Yeah.
been there. I could try. And that's what we want more than saying, "Hey, there's someone for everybody. You're out there." I don't know if he's getting back on or not.
He
But
missed
Kenny-
us. Hi, Kenny.
He doesn't hear us. His headphones aren't on.
I don't know that he knows what he's doing.
I think
Probably not.
I think every single one of these shows.
Nope, he does. He knows how to
has
close it.
happened with. I think every single one of these shows, I assumed it was going to go one way, and it just kind of whatever transpired, and it might have gone a totally different direction,
Yeah.
but it was still
Bill,
okay.
Bill, just so you know, Bill was asking what the topic is. This Sunday is going to be, it's just about best worst dates. It's Sweetest Day, a Sweetest Day special. It's talking about what you did for Sweetest Day as well as good moments in your life. But next Wednesday is Fear Factor. What are you afraid of?
I'm out of that one. I'm not afraid of anything.
That's
Then you can be
baloney. You think you're not.
I-
So
Yeah, we've been
I'll
telling
give
her
you
that for a
permission
minute.
right now. Call
All right.
her on it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to.
What
I think that
do
is.
I have-
Oh, no, I'm.
Call her on it. So
Oh, God, I
Brandon,
don't remember. I might be.
what
Yeah,
was
that's
the
right.
one
Fear
thing
Factor.
you really wanted to say tonight about dating that you never got to say because of all of us gals?
Right.
I honestly cannot think of anything right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Nothing.
He knows.
He just knows better.
What advice do you
pretty much
want?
all
What
it is.
advice do you want from us old ladies?
Yeah, what do you
Oh.
need to know, Brandon?
I gotta think this one over a second, but I could probably think of a song for this one.
Come on, we're all dying in
I'm-
suspense here.
You're not on a job interview.
I know. I'm sorry. I can't think of anything right